and I'm late and I'm tired and it's already 11 at night.
Yeah.
So I already walked after chasana.
Yeah.
So I already too many chasanas I missed over this. And I thought after the shir and after this, and after by the time it's done,
can only do so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So I learned the trick. I go to the Kabbalah's Ponim.
For some people, a good shmorg is better than everything else.
Oh,
although the Chabad shmorgs are usually pretty modest.
Yeah, it's not even. You can't even call it a shmorg.
Yeah,
you can't even call it a shmorg.
Yeah. So good.
It's good. It's very
So good.
It hurts me to see sometimes when it's when it's opulent and it's expensive. Just so
even more than that, I would say that
right.
when it's a weeknight chasana and half the people leave before the main and they're serving steak, they're serving who knows what, and they have all kinds of wine on the table, and half the people are gone because they got to drag back to Muncie or back to Brooklyn. And fine, they'll wrap it up, give all of that food. They'll give you all the food you paid for, but what are you going to do with it?
Right, exactly. It's
after the fact.
Absolutely a shanda, yeah. Okay. So let's get started straight away. Someone asked me a question. He's a counselor in an OL home, and there was a guy that was taken to the hospital last week, and the home decided to transfer him to another home. So he hears this guy calls his friend and he says, "Oh yeah, I realized I left under my bed 5 bottles of booze. And if I get caught, I'll be in big trouble because they have a condition with all the guys coming to the house that they're not allowed to have any booze. So do me a favor, go under my bed and take the 5 bottles and throw them in the garbage." Okay. Now this counselor, his job is to pack up this man's the thing to take it to the other home. He finds another 5 bottles in the closet. So he's asking a shayla, what should he do? Tell the administration this guy will get in trouble. He doesn't want to tell the administration. Could he just take the 5 bottles and throw them in the garbage can again?
Why not? Why does he have to gain?
Is it gneva? Is it hefker?
No, got permission. Do it.
No. Remember the shayla.
The other 5.
The other 5.
Get rid of them.
Okay, I understand. That's what I said.
Bring it here for bringing.
Oh,
the guy left anyway. You have to.
Okay, so here part of the question was.
Got paid already.
Part of the question was about Baltashkas, and is he allowed to bring it to a shul to give it to them for a kiddush, or should he just throw it in the garbage can?
Once it's thrown in the garbage, it's hefker. Anyone else can take it from the garbage can.
So I'll tell you what I think before we read it inside. Depends. There could be 2 ways you could read it. One way you could read, this guy told his friend on the phone, throw the 5 bottles in the garbage. He didn't realize he had another 5 bottles. It's hefker.
Yeah, he only had time to 5, not the other 5.
Second, now you're asking questions. Let me finish a sentence. You can't ask a question before I finish a sentence. So he tells him, throw the 5 bottles of booze in the garbage. So he was mafkir. Hefker is hefker. If someone throws a bottle of booze in the garbage, he puts it out on the curb, and I see it. Am I not allowed to pick it up? Sure, I'm allowed to pick it up. I'm bizaychem and hefker. So then he would surely allowed to bring it to a shul. But there's another thing to think about. As I see in a minute, hefker is not so simple. There's rules on what makes hefker and not hefker. There's another thing you could think about, which is called Tanai Shebemomim. We spoke about it once. There's like shuls, they say if you're going to leave your stuff here more than 30 days, it's hefker. And I spoke about it at length at that time. So it could be a Tanai Shebemomim. You could say, listen, they made a Tanai. They said, if you come to our home, you agree, we're giving you a bed, we're giving you food, and you agree that you're not going to bring booze. If you are going to bring booze, we're going to confiscate it. Now let me ask you.
Kick you out.
Huh?
I mean, kick you out.
Kick you out or confiscate it, right? So the council doesn't know exactly what the guy was told, but here I'm just saying, in theory, a yeshiva. I'm going to ask you like this: as a teacher, I had a child that had a terrible problem with the teacher, and it was the teacher took away from her a gadget, a cell phone. It was a camera, and the teacher said, "I'm going to give it back to you at the end of the month, at the end of the year." So my daughter came at the end of the month, and she said, "Where's my camera?" She said, "I ever took a camera from you?" Okay. So first she's gaslighting. Then she said, she looked in her drawer, she says, "It's not true. I never took it. And if I took it, I gave it back." So she lied and she stole and she gaslighted at the same time. And here,
What's that funny?
when you tell a person a lie when they know it's not true, it's not it's sort of it's a torment. I know the kid knows the teacher took it away, and the teacher's saying it's not true. I never took it away from you. So that's the worst of chinuch. I said to my wife, I don't understand. Why doesn't the teacher say in the beginning of the year, here's my rule. If I catch you with a cell phone, I'm going to put it in my bathtub for 3 days. And after 3 days sitting in the bathtub, I'm going to throw it in the garbage can. Now, the teacher could always later change your mind and say, you know what? I decided not to put it in the bathtub. I'll give it back to you. That's kosher. That's not Geneva. That's kosher. But if you tell someone, the rule is that if you're going to play with a cell phone, we'll take it away. And then at the end of the month, we give it back. Then you don't give it back. And then you lie. That's called Geneva. And that's called sheker. And that's the worst thing is in the chinuch, for sure. The worst of the worst of the worst.
This is, you're talking about homies. These are, you guys are meds and alcohol meds. This is
That's very good point.
Yes,
Very good
yes.
point. So I'll get to that. Very good point. So but here's the point. Here's what the point I want to make. If the home made a condition, you're going to come here, you can't bring vodka. If we find you with vodka, we're going to confiscate it. Ethically and maybe even halachically, they're not allowed to give it to a shul. They're not allowed because the condition is the teacher. Let me ask you a question. If the teacher, if she says, I make a rule, if I catch you with a cell phone, I'm going to confiscate it. Is she allowed to take the cell phone and give it to her husband or to her children? If a rebbe makes a rule, I catch you with a laptop, I catch you with a tablet, I catch you with a phone, I confiscate it. Is he allowed to give it to his wife or his children? It doesn't feel right, right? It doesn't feel right. That the problem is the kids, they say, my brothers told me that Rebbe, the principal, he needs extra money, so that's why he gives us a knas. And when his wife needs a cell phone, he confiscates someone's cell phone. It sounds very bad. It sounds really bad. Also, halachically, you could say there's a tenaisha b'moment. There's a condition. You could say, listen, if you come into my yeshiva and you're going to play with the tablet, I'm going to confiscate it. What am I going to do with it? I'm throwing it in the garbage can. I'm telling you right now, I'm throwing it in the garbage can. But he probably could make a condition and say, listen, I'm going to give it to my wife and children. But how bad does it sound? No one's saying that. No one's saying that. So perhaps it's mutter to confiscate and throw in the garbage. It's not mutter to give it to a shul. You understand? So if you would say it's hefker,
If they
okay,
post it in the garbage can, it's hefker. Anyone can take it from the garbage can.
that's another person, but not the administration, not the counselor who's working for OL. That he should take the bottles and deliver it to a shul.
So tell the brother-in-law to do that.
Okay. So here's the question. Let's read it very quickly inside. Then the Gemara in the Dorim says that hey, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Yeshua ben Yitzhak, the Kalamach b'fnei shlosh have a hefker, b'fnei shnaim lo have a hefker, Shum Levi Amar, Dvar Torah afil echad have a hefker, Matam Amar Rabbi Shlosh Kadeshi echad zerch v'shnaim yidim. Shum Levi is the halacha that he said that mina Torah, if a person screams hefker, one person's here, it's good enough. That Rabbanan said it shouldn't be hefker until the 3 people are present. 3 people have to be present when he makes it hefker.
At the same time?
Yeah. There has to be 3 men in the room or in the street. There has to be 3 people there.
Like a basement?
Yeah. Why? Let's read it because he says because one person could be Zoicha and the 2 people will say Eidus. This way there's no hanky-panky. One person grabs it and the other 2 are Eidus and then there's no tricks here. But the Chashmishpen Simen Eifra and Gimel Sivzayin says, I'm afkir es akarka kol hakoydem ve'echzik bazochem din teure. Afile hifker b'fnei echad, there is a hefker v'nifter ma'maises. Aval medivrei soifrim, if eine hefker, atche yafker b'fnei shloishe, kiti echad zoicha, im rotze v'shnai midim. V'yei shomer, he says, afile bein el bein atzmai have a hefker. Here's an opinion, you don't even one person. Even if there's the 4 walls in the room and he says hefker, it's hefker. Min ha-toyre. By the way, the Ktsasa Shulchan has a whole pilpul over there that if it's only within karka, he says no. Most of the Shoyim hold it's by karka, by mataltal, and it's always the same. So the Smer writes, look in the next paragraph. Gam hani yeshem im svila de madrabon ba igim, but tamch kasafte, veloy koel adin toide shvila lein tsarach lafkir b'fnei echad. Bafkir ben lebein sagi, bnaf kemide bashila baskir beemtsa shvu behem legoy. Las be malachim. So beshachzeru koidem Shabbos, veloy yachziru loy. Az yav keren ben lematz glishle yaver leman yenuach shircha, v'chol bem techad bekay gav nafila achar tekonas chazal have hefked. Anan tzadi the nech lebalam. Hefkede glishle yaver alav leman yenuach kinkos averosh repedig in ben amoidet. What happens? A Yid has a leasing company. Before the automobile was invented, he has a Gamal leasing company. He's in Saudi Arabia, and he has a leasing company. What is he leasing? Camels. So it's the Gamal leasing company. Or he's somewhere in Europe, and his leasing company is called Susverech Rabbi I'm. So and he has a goy, so he makes the condition with the goyim that Friday before sunset you got to bring me back all the horses, because Laman Yanuach, you're not allowed to have your horses out working on Shabbos. What happens? That one guy didn't. It's clear in the lease that the guy has to bring it back Friday before sunset, and if he doesn't, he has to bring it in the stable and should be he's not allowed to have the horse or working, or the camel or the cow working on Shabbos. The guy doesn't. He doesn't bring it back. What should the Jew do? What should the Jew do? Now he's over Alaman Yanuach. So the Rosh says, you could make it hefker. So even though the Rabbanon said it's not hefker unless you have three, here we're going to rely on the Raisa. Why? Because why did the Rabbanon say we need three? Because we want to make sure that the person, we'll see soon, the Alter Rebbe says that the person really meant it when he said hefker. That it's not a joke. He didn't just try to say it because he wants to make a trick. He wants to be part of a meiselis. There's all kinds of tricks why people will want to say something is hefker. So you want to know that it's serious. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the basement of your house and you say hefker, no one can hear, how serious are you? So minat toide, if you're in the basement of your house and you say hefker, it's hefker. But the Rabbanan said, we're playing games. We want to say it in front of three men. Come on. Be a man. Say it in front of three people. So otherwise, you don't really mean it. It's not hefker. But this guy on Shabbos, what is he supposed to do? The guy is refusing to bring back the horse or the camel or the donkey, and he's over on Laman Yanuach, and he's with his whole heart. He doesn't want to be over the Isur. So with his whole heart, he's saying, it's hefker. After Shabbos, when the guy brings back the horse or the cow or the donkey, so now he takes the horse and he schleps it and he's coining it again. And he was not over on Laman Yanuach. That's what the Rosh says. And the Alter Rebbe passes that way.
So if you're in the marketplace, you have your ox or your bull, whatever, and it's running through the marketplace. About to do damage. You'll have, it's not mine. Because otherwise you'd be on the hook for all the damage it's doing.
So could be you could. Yeah.
I have, because the damage will cost a lot more than the bull.
There's sometimes you're asking a good question. Probably, yeah. So but that's life. That's life. But once he says hefker, anyone could be zoichet. And he has to say hefker in front of three, otherwise the hefker is not hefker.
The whole marketplace says from the whole marketplace. Otherwise you're. At that point, I doubt anyone would want it because it's causing lots of damage.
Right. Okay. Probably you're right. He would also, after the cow does damage, he would have to bring Aiden that heard him say it's hefker. Otherwise, we assume it's his. Probably right. It's a good trick. But he loses that cow. Someone grabs it. Okay. Let's read it quickly in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Mutar lahasker lahashel labehem telagoy lahasas imat shech zirana lakoydem Shabbos v'mava goy al tanai v'ikva l'shdirkat Shabbos efkideni Yisrael pen ufen atzmai koydem Shabbos shoz eine mitzuv al shvisas akim she'ene shloich kvar efkida Pavo b'shem divrei seifrim kol efke she'ene b'fnei shloich eine hefke klal she'kesheyesh gimel b'vadu hu mafke b'leiv shalom ein kan chashash arama shleich ma gimel yochel liskaz miyad b'hefke azeh b'beis nisham Yefrein lahot loishe zoch mehefke v'lochel mafke lach zebar letziyah mimenu mikomokem afal bisha mafke bein lebenatz bevade mafke b'leiv shalom. We know that this guy, as a religious Jew in Shabbos, he wants to be a Shem Shabbos. So for sure he did a b'leiv shalom. Kadei sheinotzel miso shel Torah. Kol makom ein adam acher yochel liskas ba'kila mafkira b'fnei shlosha to short hefke the kim shein mafkira kedesh hefke malot is Shabbos ulvad im kim nasam mafkira lema Shabbos ulvad b'shosha nocher is malach hefke lemach the fil shach zero hefke gamor lo is yom lo is sho motz Shabbos me'at chazeres li shlo even shumad yochel liskas ba'ba b'Shabbos ein hefke b'shosha is malach shlo yifkira l'pdei not so misras is malach shnocher is b'Shabbos im kim b'shosha ein is b'klum chazeres li shlo even shumad yochel liskas ba'el b'shosha nocher is ba was lo ja nicht kennen und noch bafim ja nicht kennen und noch mal kommen sagen schon sagen he betel malach sanoch said es li shall yisro. The Alter says what happens if there's another Jew who's not religious, for example, and he knows the religious Jew must have made this horse. It's an expensive horse. It's a $10,000 horse. You know, horses are expensive. You think cars are expensive. What do you think? You think horses are $1.50? Horses are very expensive today. The horse, an average horse, a decent horse. We're not talking about horse races that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, a horse could be $5,000 to $10,000 easy. So a non-religious Jew knows that his neighbor who has a horse in the house of the Nochri probably was mafkided. So on Shabbos he's going to go and he'll grab the horse and say, "I'm coin it." So Alter Rebbe says it doesn't work. It's only hefke b'shaz the goy is doing malacha with the horse, and the minute you're grabbing, so you distracted the goy, and then there's no malacha being done, then it's not hefke. It's only hefke while the goy is doing malacha. Okay. Bottom line is, what we see from here is that why did the Chachamim say you need to have three? Because we want to make sure the person really made it hefke, and we don't trust him. But if you could for sure trust him, like it's Shabbos, and you know that he means it with his full heart, so it's really hefke.
Well, in this case, the guy is afraid that he'll be kicked out of the thing, so he means it with his full heart.
Oh, beautiful. So I was thinking, in this case, this guy means it with his whole heart. He doesn't want to lose his residence in all over 5 bottles of vodka. You know, this is a big deal for him to. They get
Free rent, good food,
good
medical
care, everything. Take care of them. So some of these people, have a very hard time. They have to have their own house, their own rent, the machaya. They're in a good place. Everything is taken care of.
And people actually, go to a store and say, "Give me all your money," and they don't really mean it. And then the guy calls the police, and the police come and he says, "Here, and he goes, he did it, so he go to jail because again, free meals and medical care and all that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So this guy meant it b'leiv shalom.
Yeah.
Now the problem is 2 things. Number one, the Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Pesach later says that he brings another that the reason is that Rabbanon were makel for this person in order to be a Shem Shabbos. If you're going to say the person was makel for the guy to be a Shem Shabbos, we can't use this kula for this guy who he's just scared he'll lose his bed and oil. Another thing is, this guy didn't remember that he had other bottles. So could be that's not b'chal hefker. Hefker means that you say, if he would have known that he had another few bottles, he would have said it's hefker. But the point he didn't say it's hefker. Right. It's like liyu shalom medas. We say it's not yush. So I'm not so sure we can rely on hefker. I think we can for sure rely on the fact that when the counselor can rely on when the guy came to Owel. Originally, Owel said to him, "Listen, you cannot bring vodka here. If you bring vodka, we'll confiscate it." But if he's relying on that, I don't think he can bring it to a shul. I don't think he can bring it from a shul. Or if he's relying on the fact that it's dangerous for this person, and he's taking it away. Like I said, first of all, ethically, it's like you count like the Rebbe who's taking away his cell phone and is giving it to his son. Does that feel right? It doesn't feel right.
No.
So
it's not good for the student. It shouldn't be good for his son either.
Right. So therefore, I think that the right thing to do is to rely on hefker is complicated. Did he do b'leiv shalom? Maybe only l'gabi Shabbos the Chachamim allowed it. Maybe he made hefker the 5 bottles he knew about. The other 5 that he forgot, he would have made hefker, but he didn't make hefker. There's too much questions in my mind. Is it really hefker the other 5 bottles of vodka? But for sure, he's doing him a favor by taking it away, so he doesn't have a problem with oil. And it's probably unsafe for him to have his meds and vodka at the same time.
Unsafe for the people, other people.
That's why he went to the hospital.
That's probably why he went to the hospital. And it could be multiple reasons, but that could be one of the reasons. And so therefore he could take it away, but you should not bring it to a shul. You should open the bottles and pour it down the drain, and that's it. Because then that could be that was the Tanai. You're gonna come here, you don't bring vodka. You bring vodka, we're pouring it down the drain. But to say, but sure, if the guy came originally and you know that they told him, listen, you're not allowed to bring vodka. You bring vodka. You know that shtibel over there, the Madrid shtibel. We're bringing it right there to Madrid shtibel. If they said that, it's fine. But I doubt that that's what they said. Probably when he came to the home, they said, you're not allowed to. You're going to have it. We're going to confiscate it. What does confiscate mean? It's a big word. But for sure, you could take it away and pour it down the drain. Now, are you allowed to go give it to a shul?
What happens if they say you
I
could
don't
take it
think
when you
so.
leave?
I don't think so.
Huh?
You could take it when you
If they
leave.
said that. The counselor doesn't know exactly what they said and didn't say.
When we throw you out.
He's-
Yeah, you could take it with you.
I'm saying first is a tzad to say hefker. I think hefker is complicated. If it was hefker, for sure he can go bring it to shul. He asked if I could bring it to Beis Menachem Mendel. So I would say, if it was hefker, oh sure, bring us another extra 5 bottles. But since I'm not convinced it's hefker, so why it's a Tanai Sheba moment? I don't know what the Tanai was. I'm sure Olo didn't say, if we catch you with bottles of vodka, we're bringing it to Beis Menachem Mendel. That they didn't say. So what was part of the Tanai? What was not part of the Tanai? For sure, the guy probably not for sure, but you could probably safely assume that he consented that if he will be caught, that the bottles will be opened and poured down the drain. And probably that was the Tanai. I think, and coupled with the fact that this is dangerous for him, and dangerous to the other people in the home. And the Gemara says, "Batashchas the Gufo Yodiv," so that for sure he should pour it down the drain, and there's no shaila. But he should not bring it to Beis Menachem Mendel. He should simply pour it down the drain, and it looks like Baltashchas. Baltashchas the Gufo Yodiv. This is the expression in the Gemara. Okay. Lecho Dodi likras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela.
This Friday night?
Oh, it's Friday night. There's the story. There was a famous this week. We're going to read Aseres Adibris, and there's the famous story about the Rav that came, a young rabbi. He came to community, and we were reading Aseres Adibris, and half the people stood up, and the other people stood down. There's a machloekes about it. Is Dafka supposed to stand? Dafka supposed to sit? And people were screaming at each other. Said, "Our minhag, you have to stand." Was it minhag we're supposed to sit? There's some machloekes. Yes, I'm sitting. So after Shabbos, I didn't know what to do. After Shabbos, he went to the old Rav in his house, and he said, "Rebbe, what's the minhag?" So he said, "What did they do in shul?" He said, "They were fighting." He said, "That's our minhag." Right. So but the minhag I noticed by Lecho Dodi, I noticed by Lecho Dodi, the minhag is that people are looking to the right, to the left. No one knows how you're supposed to spin by Lecho Dodi. But the last piece of Lecho Dodi by Boy B'Sholem, you're supposed to turn around. You're supposed to turn 360. So the shaila is how you're supposed to turn. I'm standing Kamizrach. Do we go Boy B'Sholem like this? Then you turn around, or which going towards Tzofim, or you go towards Doran, like this. So I look around a lot of times and I see half the people are doing this way and the other half the other, and a few people are looking. Which way am I supposed to go? This guy is spinning one way and the other guy is spinning the other way. What am I supposed to do?
Majority.
So I want to set the record straight about this.
I'll lay it out that there's a.
If the halacha would lay it out so clearly, then I would not have what to give a shir today.
Or there may be multiple minhagim.
Since I told you already what the minhag is.
Did you ever see what the Lubavitcher Rebbe did?
Yes. So I tell you, before we start Pilpulim, the Lubavitcher Rebbe was davening in the corner, like Mizrach. He was always davening in the corner by daughter. And the Rebbe would turn towards Sofim. That's the way Lubavitcher Rebbe used to do. That's what I do, Kamuvin. So the question is, why? The question is why. So there's two things to look at in halacha. I didn't find yet, but I'm going to look more, that they're talking about Lecho Dodi. But in halacha, there is a discussion about how to light the Hanukkah menorah. from right to left or left to right. There's some big machlokes about it. Most of us do like the machaber, which is that the Gemara says, "Kol pina shatapoina derech yamin." You have to go to the right. What does it mean? Is to go to the right? The machaber has a funny shita. He says to the right means you light the menorah from the left, going towards the right. So, if this is the Hanukkah menorah, so you put up the candles, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, shkaya. So one more cup you got? Shkaya.
Almost 8 days.
Almost 8. You put the candles like this, going from the right. You start, and then but when you light, you go from the left to the right.
Start with the new one.
Right. You always start with but the new one is from the left. You're going towards the right. But the other opinion says no. You go from the right to the left.
Even when you fill them, you go from the left to the right.
This is
So the first candle's always the first one lit?
No, the new one is always the.
we do like the machaber. Most of us.
The other opinion,
The other
the
one-
first candle always
Yeah.
every night.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it means that if you do it either way, you're still according to some shit that you're okay.
Yeah. I mean, and there's multiple shittas.
And everyone's gonna mix it up.
Whatever, almost anything you do is okay according to one shitta. Yeah.
The first night, you don't have a problem.
First night, even the first night, there's a machloket.
Of course.
How's that?
It's so complicated.
Shabbos,
That,
Which do you do, the shamus first or the candle first? I guess.
Before the oil, you put
Yeah.
this way or you put this way.
so there's a machloikis. Now there's also machloikis. How you spin the most of us today do like the Arizal did the Nanuyim. Because the Arizal is Soid Hashem Li'erev, the Arizal said something, that's it. But the old way of doing Nanuyim, and some people still do Nanuyim, they go 360. You know, you ever see those people that do Nanuyim? Not like we do like the Arizal. We stand straight, and we do them soften, center, up, down, and then over our shoulders. But the Shulchan Aruch says, you go like this, you go like this,
Yeah, that's
you go
how
like
some of
this,
us do.
right? So how do you turn? Which way do you turn first? To Dorim or to Tzafim?
I do
Stand
Forward.
up. Show me.
okay.
I
I
go
do
like this?
forward,
Yeah.
to the right.
yeah.
And
Back,
move
yes.
while you're doing it.
I'm not moving.
Oh, you're not moving? Sit down. You don't
Okay.
count.
All right.
You don't count.
Okay.
I'm only want to know the people. There are people that do. They move. They move 360. So some people move 360.
Move a little,
The Shulchan Aruch,
going to the back, but
a
not
little.
360.
Shulchan Aruch says you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says.
Do they have to go up or down?
Huh?
Do they go
And
up
then
or down?
they go up and down afterwards.
Macabre?
Huh?
Clock-
That's what the Machaber says.
Well, clockwise was.
Don't mix me up. Clockwise, and it's clockwise. Yeah. So and the other opinion says, no, you start with suffering. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Vigatman. It's really it's almost like shitose. The Machaber Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, how do you do?
Forward, father.
No,
Let's make a relation.
no, how do you do?
Right, but turn, left, back, no, up, down, and then.
He didn't, but he didn't walk around.
But he
And
turned.
who was this?
He turned.
He didn't walk, but he turned his body.
So he turned his body.
Yeah.
First the center.
First, center, right, left.
Right.
down,
That doesn't
and
help.
then back.
Yeah, that doesn't help so much because that's a little bit on the take of that Izal. It's just that we do like that even we don't move our body. He moved a little bit his body, but I'm looking. The original din of Shulchan Aruch is that you moved your body 360. You actually take a circle.
I see people doing it.
Huh?
I see.
You see people doing it. So the people that do it that way, so there's a machloikas how you're supposed to do it. So the same thing would be by Lecho Dodi. The problem here is that
I look at the rub every Friday night. Or whatever the rub, whichever way the rub
and I
turns,
would when they ever did it.
Was the
Whatever way the rub
Shulchan
turns, that's what.
Does the Shulchan Aruch address this?
If he would, I would have told you about it already.
Yeah.
I said that. I would have nothing to talk about if it was addressed clearly. So no, because Shulchan Aruch Rav Simon Tov Reish Nun Aleph is missing a half a simon.
Oh.
So what a shame! What a shame!
Is that the fire or something?
Probably, yeah. So it's missing. Punkt in that where it's that part in Tov Reish Nun Aleph cut off. So what a shame! What a real. There was fires and there are a lot of parts of the Alter Rebbe was burned.
Yeah.
So Tov Reish Nun Aleph when it's about to get to that simon, Oh, it's missing. What a shame.
So what do you guys do when you
So the
learn?
thing with because first of all, on this issue, the Alter Rebbe wrote in Siddur to do that like that Izah. So the issue is mute. Other issues, so whatever you learn the Mishnah Berurah and the other Simanim, but you learn the Aruch HaShulchan and the other Simanim. Okay, anyway, back to here. So what? So the truth is, it's a little funny because if you asked the Shulchan Aruch, we on Hanukkah, most of us do like the Shulchan Aruch. We do like the Shulchan Aruch. We light the menorah from left to right. Right?
I think so.
Now, the same Shulchan Aruch that says you light from left to right says that when you shake, again, never mind what we do, but theoretically, if we would have been shaking 360, he says to shake 1, 2, 3, because you're pulling, you see, your left hand, you're pulling your left to your right. You can argue with the Mechaber and say that you didn't understand what left towards right is, but this the Mechaber, we follow the Mechaber on Chanukah. So why is it that Lubavitch is not following the Mechaber, the Shulchan Aruch, but we dance Lecho Dodi? The same Shulchan Aruch that says to go on the menorah left to right says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You go towards Donim. And how come Lubavitch is doing it that when we spin on Lecho Dodi, we're going towards Sofan? Does you understand my question?
Yeah.
So, does anyone know what the Frierdiker Rebbe did?
I don't know, but because I saw what the Rebbe did.
Do you think he would follow? No.
Probably did the same thing. It's hard to imagine. If someone would have mentioned that they did it differently, they probably did the same thing. So so there's two things. One is that we learned last year. We learned the Rishimas HaManoida.
Yeah.
The Rishimas HaManoida was something special. What happened was, when the Rebbe got married, it's about that time. In Warsaw. So someone asked a question to the Frierdiker Rebbe and a Maimer and Hanukkah. It's like obscure thing about the Manoida, nothing obscure in the Torah. And he said, "You have to ask my son-in-law." And he asked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe answered him, and it was such. So the Frierdiker Rebbe told the son-in-law, "I want you to write it down." And the Rebbe wrote a whole booklet. It's been published because after the stalkers of the Rebbe Zech Tzadik Lebrocha, they found the Rebbe left in his desk all his notebooks. They found this notebook.
Rishima?
They called it the Rishimas, and they printed the Rishimas HaManoida. Rishimas HaManoida. Beyond brilliant. It's something out of this world. And we learned most of it. And
never discussed it in public.
Never.
Why?
His father-in-law told him, "I want you to write it up." And it seems like the father-in-law wanted him to publish it. He had moved to Germany, then he moved to France, then the Nazis came, and then this, and then this, and then they got busy. He got busy. 60 years, he got busy, he stayed in his desk, never published it. But like in the Rebbe's mind, he still had to work on it, but it's perfect. There's nothing it was brilliant beyond, it's like something that says, Shalom Ha'olam Hazeh, it's a Divrei Torah it's 10 times the Shagas Aryeh. But so he brings, so there is in the Mishnah there's a machlokes how what was the position of the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash? One opinion was Tzafan Rebbe Elazar, but Reb Shimon said Tzafan Dorim Hoyamunach. This is Mizrach, this is Maidav. Tzafan Dorim, north, south. So that's the way the menorah was, this way. Most pictures you see of the Beis Hamikdash, they put the menorah standing like towards the wall, Mizrach Maidav. But there is another opinion, which is Tzafan Dorim. It was this way. So the Rebbe discusses L'choida. So let's think a moment.
Did he originally?
The Kodesh HaKadoshim is there, right?
Yes.
So the menorah, the Shulchan is right over here. Shulchan, let's say this is the Shulchan. The Shulchan is right over here, and this is the Shulchan. Here is the menorah, and the Kohen comes in. The Gemara says he's not allowed to walk towards the wall, because if he walks next to the walls could have soot on it, and the begodim of the Kohen must be immaculate, or white and immaculate. You cannot be nothing on it. It has to be, otherwise the avoid is a question in his avoid. So he walks in the center, perhaps even to the right, called Pina Shatapoin al Yamin. He walks in. So he walks into the Kodesh. So he gets to the menorah, he's at this side of the menorah. He walks up 3 steps on the step stool. There was a 3-step thing in front of the menorah. You don't ignore mitzvahs. So when he was doing Hatova and Atlokas and presumably he was starting this way and going like this, from the right to the left. So the Taza Shita, which is not the way we do, that you're going from right to left. That's the way it was done in the base of Mikdash.
Hanukkah menorah you're adding each night. In the base of Mikdash,
But what's the difference?
It's the same number every night.
So, but still, so let's 8th night of Hanukkah. Let's talk the 7th night of Hanukkah. So I'm doing the opposite of what they did in the base of Mikdash. The base of Mikdash, the Kohen went from right to left, and I'm going from left to right. Simple question that everyone asks on the Mechaber. The Rebbe says that they're making a wrong assumption. You got to move the step stool the other way around. You got to move the step stool like this. They're thinking that the Kohen was with his nose to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. How would you put your back to the Kodesh HaKadoshim? Chas v'shalom. But the Rebbe says you must say that the step stool was here. Why? Because the Gemara says that there was Ner Maravi, was a Eidus Shashchina Shayda B'Yisrael. The middle light was a testimony that was what? The Ner Maravi. The Gemara says, according to this opinion that the menorah was straight, all 7 candles were equal distance from the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So how do you have a Ner Maravi? So the Gemara says, because 3 wicks went tilted like this. 3 wicks were tilted like this. And the middle wick was tilting towards the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's what was called Ner Maravi. The middle candle was called it because the wick was tilted, those 3 wicks this way, 3 wicks this way, and the middle wick was tilting towards the Kodesh HaKadoshim.
And how is it Ner Maravi? I think it's
Because
I would call it the Ner Markazi. That's the central candle. How is it Ner Maravi?
Because it's tilted towards Maida.
Oh,
the wick is tilted to Maida. So the Rebbe says like this: could you imagine if the Kohen? Remember, the Godim have to be immaculate; they're not allowed to be burnt or in any way. So and they light from one wick to the other wick. That's the way they used to. They didn't have a shamash. They used to light one wick to the other wick. So and here he's taking this wick and lighting this wick, and then he moves his finger back. Easily, his sleeve gets burnt. Or at least a coin that's not so careful, his sleeve is going to get burnt. So therefore, it stands to reason that they put the stepping stool the other way around. So when the Kohen walked in, it's just a brilliant teretz to answer the Machaber. The Kohen walked into the Kodesh, like the menorah. The stepping stool wasn't here like everyone thinks. The stepping stool was here.
Where's the Kodesh Kodashim? And
here's the Kodesh Kodashim. Mine. This is mine. This is the Kodesh Kodashim.
So then, wouldn't you, if you, according to that,
his back, he turns
your
like
back
this.
Is toward the Kodesh Kodashim. Is that a big problem?
You got to do what you got to do.
So we'll make an exception in that case.
You got to do.
Okay.
Because otherwise, the Kohen's sleeve is going to burn. So therefore, now visualize that the Kohen is standing this way, and he's lighting. So he's lighting now. Let's pick up our menorah here. He's standing this way, with his back to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Now he's lighting from his left to his right. You see, like a Machaber. So all that Rebbe did was he moved the stepping stool. If the stepping stool was here, the Kohen was lighting from the right to the left. As soon as the Rebbe flipped the stepping stool to the other side, you're going from the left to the right, showing for Emfet the Machaber. But it's still it's a little
we like the menorah. We don't do that. If we have a menorah on the table or the windowsill, obviously
right.
By windowsill, we're not standing.
We're always going
outside.
We're always going from the left to the right.
Yeah,
we're always going from the left to right. So it goes back to my original question. We're always going like the Machaber. We go from the left to the right. Why is it that we don't listen to him when it comes with if the same Shulchan Aruch that says when you light the menorah you have to go? What does it mean to go towards the right? That you're lighting from the left to the right, and the same Shulchan Aruch says that when you're spinning bananuyim, that you go towards Doran 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Why is it that Chabad by Lecho Dodi does it the other way around? That we're turning towards Tzafin. If we did the menorah the other way, okay, that's the other opinion. But the two opinions seems to be linked. So I think the answer is Azoy. When it comes to the Nanuyim, the Shulchan Aruch says how to do it. The Lavush says that Api Kabbalah that's longer. And he says because you're always supposed to finish with Dorim. Dorim is chut shel chesed. You always have to tie the ribbon when you have a gift. The ribbon tied is a nice ribbon. You always have to finish with a chut shel chesed. You always have to finish with a chut shel chesed. And he has other things, api Kabbalah, and he said also a whole thing. When you see people dance, he says you learn from the teva. He says naturally when people dance, it's very hard to say because your head is not going to spin. He says whenever people are naturally dancing, they dance. The truth is, if you see how people dance in the face of Lecho Dodi, no one ever thought how we're going to dance, but which way people dancing? They go around the bima this way, right? He says every time I saw people dance, I don't know if it's so true. He says al pi ateva that every time people move their body, they go like this. They dance like this. So therefore, the Shulchan Aruch is wrong. Don't go like this. Al pi ateva. You see al pi ateva? He says al pi Kabbalah and al pi ateva. And the third, he says al pi the mizbeach. He say ezu mekoyim every morning. Then he would go up and he would start. And he would go towards his right. So he says, I have a raya from the teva, from Kabbalah, and from the mizbeach. So I'm right. So first of all, if you're going up Teva,
and
you would probably have to do, because if there's scientists still didn't figure out when the water, when the water is spinning in the bathtub or in the thing, is it going right to left or left to right? So it depends in the upper part of the hemisphere and the lower part of the hemisphere. It has to do with how the world is spinning.
But our dancing is not based on the upper. If you're in New York or in New York, it doesn't make it feel like.
If you're getting the nanuyim should be api teva, so then in Australia they should do the nanuyim the way the water is spinning in their bathtub.
But that's not.
We should. Okay,
I'm just going to the left.
I'm just telling you. Okay, so the Tosfos Yom Tov and all the Mefarshim say, how could you teva? Who cares what the teva is? The mitzvah is to break the teva. What do you bring a raya from the teva? And then you want to go to Kabbalah? You're telling me how to do Nanuim Api Kabbalah? You want to go against the minig? And I'm going to cook up Api Kabbalah, the opposite Kavanah, says the Tosfos Yom Tov. So it's okay, because that was the minig. The minig was always that they did Nanuim the way the Shulchan Aruch said, the Beis Yosef said. But what happened? The Beis Yosef had a very choshev and mechutin. His name was Rabbi Yitzchak Luria Darizal. And he was a Malach Hashem Tzvokes. Everything he said was accepted like Moshe Rabbeinu said it at Har Sinai. Mamash Azoy, that's the way we accept the words of the Arizal. So the Arizal ruined it until the Shulchan Aruch came. The minig of Yidden was to do Nanuim by turning around 360. And the Shulchan Aruch said that the minig was that they turned towards the Dorim. The Arizal came along and said, Api Kabbalah are supposed to stand on one place. And then you move Dorim, Tzafin, center, up, down, towards the back. Some people do like the Arizal, but they a little bit slightly move their body, but still they're not moving 360. So now that minig changed. That's it. That minig is bye-bye. There's very few people, if you go to a shul, hardly any people do a 360 dance when they do Nanuim. So now what's left? So that Nanuim is not relevant to us anymore, because we anyway do that Nanuim like the Arizal. So now Api Kabbalah, now Api Kabbalah. So the Lavush says that Api Kabbalah, if you ask me how you should spin 360, you should turn the soften and you should end off in Dorim because of Chut Shel Chesed. There could be another 100 things Api Kabbalah. So I think the reason why the Rebbe turned this way is not because Kol Pina Shatapaina Limin, not because of the Nanuim. There's probably some Inyan Api Soy Api Kabbalah. Maybe what the Lavush said about the and maybe we do go with the teva when it comes Friday night. We want to bring the kedusha into the world, into the teva. We're not trying to break the teva. We're trying to uplift the teva. And again, if we did Nanuim one way and then Lecho Dodi the other way, it would be weird. Why are you doing the Nanuim one way and the Shulchan Aruch says to do Nanuim turning one way? So we look dancing Lecho Dodi the opposite way. Mm-hmm. But since we already stopped the minig of the Shulchan Aruch, we do like the Arizal. The Arizal was a Malach Hashem Tzvokes. We do exactly to what the Arizal said. The Arizal said to stand in one place and to shake 3 to the Dorim, 3 to the Tzafon, 3 to the Semter, 3 up, 3 down, and 3 to the back, to the Ma'ariv. So that's it. We do what the Arizal does. So we're not anyway doing what the Shulchan Aruch says, L'gabi Nanuim. Now the question is how to dance by Lecho Dodi. Probably the Lubavitcher Rebbe did it Api Kabbalah. And like I said, could be Shabbos. We want to bring the holiness into the Teva. And the truth is, in the upper part of the hemisphere, the water does spin. And people do dance. You see in Beis Menachem Mendel, people do dance in the beam going like this. They do dance this way. And so that's the Teva. And the way that the water goes down the drain is also going this way. So Mamela, probably a Tam Al Pi Kabbalah. It's nothing to do, it's not to do with Hanukkah. It's nothing to do with Hanukkah, and it's nothing to do with Enanui. It's not connected. So these two places, Hanukkah, we go like the Machaber. We go left to right. And then Anuyim, if we would have done it in 360, we would have done it like the Shulchan Aruch. But we don't. We do it like that Iza. So the only thing that's left is how to dance Lecho Dodi. So that's a Pi Kabbalah. Probably that's where the Rebbe turned towards Sofim, because that's a Pi Kabbalah.
Why you bring the raya as far as the way the water goes down the drain? If different parts of the world it goes down differently.
I'm just playing around because I'm saying because the Lavush says we should look at the Teva, how people dance.
But
I'm asking.
You're in a part of the earth where Teva is different.
So I'm sort of asking a question on the really him. I'm saying that it's funny if you're saying you go up Teva, so maybe you should look how the water spins, and then and we should do the Nanuyim and the Chadoidi, the opposite in two places of the world. So I'm saying really the truth is probably a pisoid. The truth is it's Soid Lashem Liyareyev. Probably it's a Pi Kabbalah, and the truth is Lavusha himself has a thing that you're supposed to turn towards Tzafon, because you start off with the Gvura, because Tzafon is Gvura, Mitzafon Tepasachara, north, and north is we're running Mitzafon Tepasachara, and then you bring the north into the south, because you want to sweeten it. You want to sweeten all the judgments. So you go like this. You move the tzafon into the daughter. That's you want to finish. You want to bring it in to the daughter. You want to bring the tzafon into the daughter. That's probably, or whatever other reasons are Pi Kabbalah. It's not to do with the
menorah. The whole reason why we turn around to bring Shabbos in to the Nahapafus from Kollel Shabbos.
So you're right. That you asked now the right question. You asked now the right question. Problem is the probably the episode that's bring the kedusha into all campus audits. So we're bringing the kedusha. So the way we're bringing the kedusha into the Dalit campus audits is something a kabbalistic thing. So it makes sense that we're going first to the tzafon. The tzafon is always the problem. The pasuk says mitzafon tepasachara. The north the trouble will always start from North Korea, from Russia, the north. Alamo from the north, mitzafon tepasachara.
What about the Civil War?
Huh?
The Civil War started from the south.
Yeah, the Yankees made the problems.
And unfortunately, it ends up in Marav.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's where it ends up.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's the way to dance Lecho Dodi. It's probably a Soid Hashem Liyareyev to bring the Kedushin to Dalit campus audits. That's the way to do it. Okay, we'll leave it with this. David shall help. We should bring Kedusha and the Dalit campus audits, but via Mashiach Tzidkein.
One, when people go to a wedding, let's say the band is over here by those tables. So I've always noticed without any intention when they have dancing at any kind of simcha, instead of having your back to the band, the band and the crowd feed off each other. So you're typically dancing so that your eyes go towards the band. There's a symmetry between the bands and the husband and the friends and the crowd. So it's without it. I don't think that the dancing has a been that the people decide or the band leader said I'll be sold. Want to recruit him to be something the Torah or no to something.
It happens.
It happens, and I'm saying Lamaisa that if you're going in the circle.
Not everyone goes in a circle. Some people dance on their head.
Well, okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, my father, from his grandfather, we had a family meeting by Shalom Aleichem that we would go around the living room, dining room, family, and if there were and guests. As my parents got older, we would sit because it was instead of the walking, but the Shalom Aleichem. And my father would always say that his father, the grandfather, would say that you're welcoming the angels, but there was no cheshbon, in terms of Safan and Zaram. It could be one time we started here and ended up there. There was no minhag about the
Direction.
direction.
Okay. Ask me the question.
But they were Kabbalah. These were Litvaks who had a custom to welcome the angels.
Right.
But no,
But you asked another question. The Bush says people there.
I'm saying it's based on the Bible.
What's the minute? I know all my life. In all the children, I mean, see,
Have a good day.
wherever I go, the cousin starts cuddling.
How long?
He finishes, then the kahal says, Kama was also the
Then the cow.
and then the kahal.
Greenheim.
Yeah, I noticed here.
Everyone dances. Everyone sings together.
Right, why is that? That's all that. I think it was a minute.
That's
I always heard that a minute. If I'm in the public, a minute come on, I'm off it. But if something done for so many years, I would like that.
6 years ago,
The Rav Nabi
but his father,
it's a serious in Israel, all these places.
they say it, and the cow answers.
Cousin said first, while he starts to die, of course,
Now, a lot of people make that
stops and falls over the house and
holding this up.
oh, you should not that's how it goes.
Probably. I look. It's the more six you look go that way. Usually they have to.
Again, like the Shabbat, I think,
Like, so many pictures in the fire, it's
I'm sure the other.
sometimes the other way around, so.
yeah, he's got a steady.
Also sits and shot that way.
You know they do on the short for the first the cousin, then the cow, the other one.
No, first the cousin. While it's starting, if I do whatever they get, everyone sings.
Of sorts.
Then there's a pause and everyone says you have to.
I'm not familiar with
I
don't know.
And then a lot of things also change a nigga by like so like.
Yeah. Get this finished.
That there and here.
Exactly. It's my
It was a situation. His son and his
notice.
Always down in the life.
Yeah. So if we haven't like Schneebelin for a night, but there was no.
It's on the Mill Avenue.
I was only.
that much I don't need to
Wow.
Let's speak it.
But most of definitely people.
Yeah.
It's having the. No, I was
Probably
you don't notice it.
I thought
probably so.
I'm trying to mention it was
Realize
Right.
now be fishing, boating, whatever they are, they catch whatever.
no Allah.
And some guys just when you rent the nail places, like it's Chinese nail places.
Okay, that wasn't her.
Well, they buy whatever can.
Really?
Taste of the chunk.
You know when you went.
I would say so. Some people say chase the Lashon, but
Go.
why chase away the Malach? No, go, but come back.
One guy goes
Take them over the Akam.
Yeah.
you guys
I have more than one.
goes
My
like
father did it, but I do it.
probably, but he
Yeah.
does. Actually,
So rather somebody got revenge.
Yes.
Doesn't say that
How bad is
then you put down over it.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we give them look them game.
One guy, I don't know, one guy that has a.
Probably is.
No, he
Wouldn't give them a lot.
He goes far out.
Before the tongue is ocean.
Yeah.
Maybe for dessert, they want to come back.
Where?
From here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stuff and
Yeah, one of the.
He's a son now.
Oh,
Last night,
no, I
by the
don't
different
know.
terrorists,
They're open.
Sarah Solomon, Sarah Solomon,
It's set up.
our grandmother said,
No, but
one of them, Harrison, but Sarah Solomon was totally felt on people's face. And when you feel for somebody else pain, they're paying.
I don't know.
He says, why do people cry?
Don't
Somebody's
know the extent of what will be kosher.
It should be better that people are. In today's dark,
Unless
I
we
doubt they'll
crime.
make any
What's
special
the reason for the
arrangement.
crime?
Because
Because when you're crying,
they're
you're
smart.
crying
If
that
they're smart.
the
If they're
Nifso
smart,
and
They
Terry
made it
up
the
in
corporate office far
Shemayim
away.
by Besdin.
but
So you're
every-
crying about the person
every
serves in
franchise,
Besdin, Shemala. So you're making it
Yeah.
easier for them
Yeah.
in
They
Besdin.
have some
Shemala. So
discretion.
it's important
Yeah,
to
but once
know
they have
why the reason for crying and we should do
eat
it.
in the store.
There's some things.
Yeah.
They have sandwiches.
Very
Tuna
nice.
sandwiches.
No, I'm sorry.
Lots and bacon.
No, they have
Everybody from Shabbos now.
no, they have
More
meat.
starving.
Bacon. I was thinking like
Different service.
breakfast food. You're right.
What?
Every 9 o'clock.
They have that. It means you can't really. Your options are very
So
limited.
like take Dunkin'
How long
Donuts.
did it
Dunkin'
take them?
Donuts also has sandwiches, but they're
Yesterday,
They're smart enough that
kosher.
someone